Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So this is part of a new 4-week series that I'm doing, which is the Functional Friday. So every Friday I'm going to release a video where I choose one muscle on the human body and explain its function and my favorite functional exercises to build strength in that muscle. Now going along with that, on my Tuesday upload, that is going to be a workout that basically implements all of the things that I talk about today. So it's gonna be fully follow along, probably about 30 to 45 minutes, and the one on this Tuesday will be a lower body workout specifically targeting the glutes. So if you're excited for that, give this video a thumbs up and we're gonna hop right in. Did I even mention that our muscle today is the glutes? It's the glutes. So the glutes. Guys, the glutes are an interesting muscle because there's actually 3 different parts of the glutes. So the gluteus has the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, and gluteus minimus, or as you've probably heard of them more so often, the glute max, glute med, and glutemin. So we're gonna go through each one of these muscles quickly and talk about the origin and insertion. We're gonna talk about the function and then my favorite functional exercises to train these muscles. Hold on, I need more coffee. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, so the glute max. So the glute max is the largest muscle of the butt and it kind of wraps around. So it is gonna have a few different like origin and insertion points. So I'm gonna try and keep this as simple as possible. So people who like are even more knowledgeable than me about anatomy, just don't come for me. I'm trying to make it really simple. So the glute max is gonna originate at the pelvis, sacrum, and coccyx, or your tailbone, and then it's going to insert into the femur and the IT band. Again, we're trying to keep it simple. As far as the function of the glute max, it's going to be in charge of internal and external hip rotation, hip extension, and hip flexion. And then most importantly, in my opinion, your glutes are gonna stabilize you. So your glutes are literally like what helps you stand up. If we didn't have strong glutes, we wouldn't be able to stand up. We wouldn't be able to stand up on one leg. So training the glutes is what's gonna help keep the hips and pelvis stable, which is going to help with your balance, which is going to help you stand upright and not fall over. So some of my favorite glute building exercises are gonna be a goblet squat, hip thrusts, and then a Romanian deadlift. So all 3 of these exercises have a really big focus on the posterior kinetic chain, AKA the back of your body. And even though we are hitting tons of different muscles in there and lots of different joints, which is like what you want to work in compound movement, the main focus, like the why of these movements, is going to be to target and strengthen and build the glute max. So that's why I love those. They're very functional because they mimic things that we're gonna be doing in everyday life. You know, like the banded kickbacks and the banded abductions, like they're all fine, especially if you're using them, you know, in a high rep, low weight class, or if you're trying to just do some activation. But as far as actually building the muscles and building long-term strength that's sustainable, you're gonna wanna pick up something heavier than a band. Diving into the second part of the glutes, the glute med. So the glute med is kind of like the side butt. If you look at someone from the front and you see their butt like from the front, then that's most of the time glute med. It kind of builds that like side, how many more times can I say it? It's the side of your butt pretty much. As far as the origin and insertion, it's gonna originate at the ilium, and it kind of has this like fan shape, which I think is really cute, and that's gonna insert into the femur. So just like the glute max, as far as the function, it is going to assist with internal and external hip rotation, but the main difference is that it's also in charge of hip abduction and adduction. So bringing the leg up and away from the body and then back in. I don't know why I just geeked out about that so much, but here we are. And then of course, another like very important component of the glute med is that it's going to stabilize your lumbar pelvic hip complex, or just basically your hips, and again, assist in helping us stabilize and stand upright. Some of my favorite glute med exercises are pretty much gonna be like the same as what I said for the glute max, except we're gonna do things from the sumo position, or the feet are slightly turned out. If we're talking about a goblet squat, I love doing a sumo goblet squat, so just with the toes turned out, and then you're gonna send the tailbone more so straight down and up than to the back, a sumo deadlift. So turning the toes out and then hinging from the hips, again, really focusing on that posterior kinetic chain. And then I feel like I'm about to contradict myself, but I will say that one of my favorite glute med, like, I guess it's not to build muscle, but it is really important just to like help activate, and also it's a great one if you have any kind of knee issues. But these like banded abductions, but they're really, really small, and you have like a bend in the knees, and hopefully I just like insert something on top of this so you can see what I mean. But I actually do really like these to do before the other two exercises that I just did. So yeah, making sure that we're getting that abduction, not just the external hip rotation, because that is something that's completely different from the glute max, is the abduction factor that will help build the glute med. And then finally, the glutemin, which is something you never really hear about. You can pretty much take every single thing that I just said about the glute med and apply it to the glutemin, except for the fact that it is underneath the glute med and it is smaller. So what I see with a lot of my clients, a lot of people that I work with, is that people have pretty weak glutes. I actually am working on my glute strength as well. But remember, we want to have strong glutes because it literally is what helps you to stand up. All right, like if we're just breaking it down super simple, it's not about aesthetics, it's not about appearance, it's about functional, being functional with your training and having the ability to stand up without falling over, all right? And don't just think about now when you're in your 20s or 30s, think about down the road when you're old and you like have trouble walking. You wanna have the best chance possible to not fall over. Anyway, I do find that a lot of people have weaker glutes simply because we're sitting so much of the day. We're sitting down all the time, and when you're sitting, you're putting your body in this constant state of flexion. So if you wanna think about it really simply, the front of your body are your flexors, and then the back of your body are your extensors, or extenders. Extenders? You get the idea. So for the most part, the muscles on the front of your body are gonna pull you forward, and the muscles on the back of your body are gonna pull you upright or back, okay? So we spend so much time forward over our computers, hunched forward, and the muscles in the front of our body are constantly being used, therefore they're overworked. This is why I can't do a pull-up, but I can do amazing push-ups because I have all the pushing strength in the world and none of the pulling strength. And then because of that, the muscles on the back of your body simply just get weaker over time. So that's really the main reason that I see that we just have weaker glutes. And then as you do glute exercises, if you don't know how to actually like activate or tap into your glutes, a lot of people are simply just like working out their quads, and then their quads are taking on the muscle action of the glutes. And that's never good, because think about it this way, like if you have one job at work and then someone asks you to do another job entirely, you're gonna get overworked, you're gonna be fatigued, you're not gonna do a good job, you're gonna get sick, So think of that as the same thing. If your quads are doing the muscle action of two muscles, of your glutes and your quads, then it's going to be overworked, and eventually it's going to break down, and it is probably going to lead to some kind of muscle imbalance and injury. And I don't necessarily mean injury like you're gonna tear your ACL. I mean injury like you're gonna have tendinitis, or you're just gonna have back pain, or whatever it is that's just, it's annoying. These nuisances are just gonna follow you and linger, and it's not gonna make you wanna move, and it's just going to be like this snowball effect. So that's what I typically mean when I say injury. But I will say, like, the number of ACL tears that I hear about from people literally just like standing up and walking is insane. And to be honest, it's because people are hyper quad dominant and the rest of the muscles of their legs surrounding the knees are not strong, and they tear their ACL. Okay, and then like quick little bonus, because a lot of you have probably found me from that bar video that everyone seems to hate because I'm really honest. But I wanna talk about the importance of the glutes in a bar class. So remembering, going back to like the function, not just stabilization, like the actual function of the glutes. So if we're talking about all three, we're talking about internal and external rotation, and we're talking about abduction. And a lot of times in a bar class, we are working at external hip rotation. If you do not have strong enough glutes, you will not be able to properly externally rotate from the hips. You will start rotating from the knees. It's already such a problem point for people, and it's a really hypermobile joint. You're adding even more mobility onto it, and then all of this pressure and strain from doing these exercises, you're gonna get injured. So that was really one of the main issues that I have with bar classes, is simply that people do not have the glute strength to actually open up from the hips and have proper external hip rotation. That's my rant about the importance of glutes in a bar class. All right, we did it. First, functional Friday for the glutes. So guys, make sure that you tune back in on Tuesday for your full follow along workout. Again, it's gonna be a lower body workout specifically focused on the glutes. But if you train with me before, you know that like your core and your arms are still gonna be feeling it. So just get ready for a fun sweat. I'm super excited about this. I hope people actually like it because I'm nerding out. Hopefully there are other nerds out there. Bye guys.
We on the way up, we gotta stay up, body getting weak, 7 days I'll be trying to catch up on my sleep.